to Rogers Place for Game 5. Family fun that's second to none, starting at just $20 a seat. 6 p.m. tomorrow, your Edmonton Oil Kings look for a critical win versus the Saskatoon Blades in the 5th game of their first-round series. Plus, at every playoff home game, score Calmont Kids food combos for $10 or less. The value is king size. Edmonton Oil Kings, Saskatoon Blades, WHL Playoffs, Round 1. 6 o'clock puck drop tomorrow evening. Great seats at Rogers Place start at only $20. Save on day of game pricing now at oilkings.ca.
Wondering what you can afford?
Let Go Auto do the math with our free car loan calculator. No pressure,
No awkward convos.
just quick answers on your budget and payments.
Bad credit? No credit? We got you.
Text CHECK to 780-777-7777.
That's check to 780 all 7.
Find out what you qualify for and start shopping with confidence. Go Auto. Drive what you love with payments that make sense.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is the #1 heating and cooling company for people who want heating and cooling, because you'll save a bundle by bundling. Then you can use hot, cold, hot, cold. Come on, thermostat, do what you're told. Turn up the heat, turn up the cold, to the vents start pushing out tornadoes. Bundle my furnace with some AC. Gonna get a new from Legacy! Oh, yeah. Save a bundle when you bundle your new furnace and AC from Legacy today. Plus no payments and no interest for 1 year. That's how you build your legacy. Legacy Heating and Cooling.
This is Andrew Walker, host of the postgame show on Sports 1440. After every hockey game this season, tune in and chime in as we talk about the game. It's all sponsored by Legacy Heating and Cooling. Don't get left in the cold. Visit legacyheating.ca.
April 7th and 8th is the Critical Care On the Air Radiothon for Stars. Your chance to support this vital service that delivers life-saving care to Albertans. Listen for stories from Stars VIPs, very important patients, and how Stars has made a difference in their lives. You'll also hear from members of the Stars team April 7th and 8th. The Critical Care On the Air Radiothon for Stars, presented by BHP and Parrish and Heimbecker. Please donate and help keep Stars flying and saving lives. Visit criticalcareontheair.ca.
Is your business ready to grow? Not sure how? We have your solution. We are Stingray. Whether your customers are around the corner or across the country, Stingray connects you with radio to digital advertising, including connected TV, search and social, programmatic, digital advertising, and digital out of home. From idea to execution, we've got you covered. With creative and production, cross-platform integration, detailed reporting, and one-on-one support, it's the easy way to make your business grow. Get started now at stingraymediasolutions.com.
Here's the Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440.
Presented by Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy. WolfGMCBuick.com.
Welcome to the Lowdown. Today's show, Oilers roll into April with a chance to land in Pacific Heights. Plus, new lines may mean Josh Szymanski is California-bound. What team would you rather see the Oilers play in round one? Plus, Oilers sign a college man, a center, pretty famous guy. We'll tell you about that and more coming up on the show. The Lowdown is brought to you by Wolf GMC Buick. It's Truck Month featuring their best deals of the year. Ask about 0% financing plus extra discounts for Costco members. WolfGMCBuick.com. As you know, we are live on YouTube and Sports 1440 AM radio, online at iHeartRadio, sports1440.ca, and Radio Player Canada. After the show, it's Apple and Spotify podcast if you missed us. And why would you do that? And of course, we tweet it out on X. We're on Twitter at Lowetide, at Declan Krueger, at JFenwick04. Text anytime, 833-401-1440. You drive the show. What you want to talk about, we will discuss at 833-401-1440. Our guest today, bagged milk from Oilers Nation, Ben Pope from Chicago Sun-Times, and Declanations is Declan CAA. Lots going on there. It'll be a fun show. There's so much to talk about, including Paul Coffey and what's happened, what's going on since he arrived. That and more straight ahead. It's time now, ladies and gentlemen, for the introductions. His biggest strength is in editing video, although the video he sends out on X during this show and about this show failed to capture my true beauty. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Josh Fenwick. Josh Fenwick.
Well, it's true that about 90% of the video that's sent out from the show is from me.
Mm-hmm.
Yesterday's, you can blame that on Declan.
It was 12 minutes long.
It was 6 minutes long.
It was long.
And it could have been longer. Declan, he could have recorded the whole segment.
Well, is it like, do you get more hits on a 6-minute one or more hits on a 90
No, we definitely get
second?
less hits on a 6-minute one, but it was very I think it was an important conversation to be had.
Wow. So maybe go back and listen to it if you didn't. Not you, but the listeners.
Yeah. I was there. I lived it.
42 minutes. It's longer than Physical Graffiti.
It's 6
by
and a half
Led
minutes.
Zeppelin, and that was a double album. Kashmir, you'd have to play it 11 times to get the amount of time we had on that vignette you sent out. And it was you.
It was Declan
Okay.
that put that out yesterday. Also, great job, Deck.
His biggest strength is his volume. He draws in listeners who aren't even listening on the radio. They're just walking by in the mall. Ladies and gentlemen, Declan Krueger. Declan Krueger.
That's that gravity we were talking about with Wemby. I will say quickly, I don't know if it's always the length of the video because we put out like a 4.5-minute one that was a Bush Norris debate. That did quite well.
Same with the Pickard one.
Yeah,
What about
exactly.
the
one of the best we ever did?
Carius one where he said somebody should
Carius, that was a minute and 15 seconds long, where he said Trent Frederick should kill Matthew Tkachuk.
I think we all have a certain amount of attention span, and a 42-minute one I thought was a little long.
Well, I'll tell you this: one of the best clips we've ever done was like a 5-minute video of Rich Winter talking about Calvin Pickard. So it's really just people don't love basketball like that, but that's cool.
No, I don't think. Honestly, with respect, I think that that's a pretty long one, no matter what the subject matter is. All right, we're going to move on. So here's the deal. People asked me yesterday, they said, how much impact has Paul Coffey had? And I did the usual rambly radio announcer, babbling like a raccoon answer, which is what I do. You can listen every weekday. But so I went back and I looked, and on the day he was hired, the Oilers were allowing 2.78 goals against per 60 at 5-on-5, had a 47% goal share. Since then, the goals against per 60 is up a little bit, about the same, but the goal share has increased to 51%. So they're scoring more goals. They're giving up a little more, but their share is much larger. Here's the interesting thing, and I think the thing that the eye test will confirm. Before Paul Coffey got here, the high danger chances against per 60 were 11.52. That's high. It's now 9.45. 2 per 60 at 5-on-5, less since Paul Coffey got here. How's he doing it? Well, I think they're playing more like a 5-man unit. The gapping between the defense and the forwards is far less than it was, and they're using the middle of the ice for outlets, and the top forward, probably the center, is coming down lower. And in fact, when there's at least 2 people overloading on the other team, there's a little lane, just a sliver of a lane right into the slot and above where it could miss the crease by like very little. And they're using that effectively. It works if you have, calm ice veins. And under Paul Coffey, somehow this defensive unit gains confidence. I don't know what he does, but I do think, to answer the question from yesterday, that Paul Coffey does make a difference, and he has in that one area, and certainly in suppressing high danger chances, which is what he did in the 2 years that he was here before. Last time we went to Stanley Cup Finals twice. Word is that the lines and pairings are out, except that we're not really sure about Zach Hyman playing. It looks like Tristan Jarry tonight. Josh Szymanski should be in the lineup. You hope he's in the lineup. Not absolutely certain he will be, especially if Zach Hyman is out. Trent Frederick will draw in, and I think that's a good thing because they're going to play him in the playoffs, and they need him for that physical edge, and they've got some guys now. And I think those 2 Chicago Blackhawks are playing against their old team tonight. I think they've been key to this team, along with Paul Coffey, but a guy like Josh Szymanski can increase the talent level, the pool of talent that is available throughout the playoffs, and I think it's a good thing. Do you guys remember, did you ever interview, and we were over at the old place, or talk about Vic Rauter? He retired today, 53 years in the business. And an amazing individual. I interviewed him 2 or 3 times. Each time he blew me away with how humble he was. Vic Rauter, if you're a curling fan, you know Vic, you know the way he talks. That's 1, 2, count them up. Vic Rauter retiring. So congratulations on a brilliant career. We should also be so good and so lucky to work in such a great broadcast industry. But Vic Rauter retiring, and that is big news across the nation. So let's move on, because I want to talk a little bit about the Toronto Blue Jays and a big thing that happened. And then I got a college signing to talk to you about the Oilers. So the Blue Jays are rained out today, which is too bad because there's only like 3 or 4 games on. But it's good in a way because we can focus our attention, if you're a baseball fan, on the Pittsburgh Pirates doing the right thing. When Paul Skeens won the Rookie of the Year award a year ago, they called him up late and they were not eligible and did not receive a special additional draft pick that you get if you call up your player early and they excel. And that's on the Pirates. And they were in danger of doing the same thing with brilliant young shortstop Connor Griffin, who's going to be an impact player. It might take him some time. It's not like he's going to, blow everything out of the water. We saw Roman Anthony play well a year ago, and he's going to be a great player, but there's growing pains. Griffin is a teenager. It's rare that teenagers end up playing a full season in the major leagues of baseball. But today, the Pirates announced that they've recalled him, and he will play for the Pirates in Pittsburgh tomorrow. And the good thing about that is it means that the fans can get excited about a great story. No matter what happens, he can go 0 for 20. I don't think he will. But no matter what happens, Connor Griffin is in the major leagues. They should sign him to a long-term deal and let those poor Pittsburgh Pirates fans who have endured a lot enjoy the future now in Connor Griffin. I bet he does very well. Hope he does. By the way, in our fantasy league, your dad has Connor Griffin on his roster. So those Fenwicks, man, they're very, very, very smart.
He's definitely the smartest of the bunch, no doubt.
Is he no relatives are smarter?
I would probably hazard a guess to say that my grandparents are very smart.
Okay.
Worked in oil, and my grandma was a nurse and graduated high school at 16, I think.
Wow.
But like my dad is in my immediate 5-person family.
Mm-hmm.
I think by far he is the smartest. Actually, I don't think I know by far.
Would he say that? Would he admit that, or would he say no?
No, he'd be very humble about it.
Yeah.
And the other 4 of us would say, "Dad, you're the smartest. Like just take it." All right.
We're just going to move on, Dad.
He's a smart guy.
All right. The Edmonton Oilers have made a signing, and this is a big deal, although you might not see him for a couple of years. He's a Western Michigan University center named Owen Michaels. He was the most outstanding player in last year's Frozen Four, which Western Michigan won. Corey Pronman puts out an article every spring about, possible signings. And the Oilers usually get one, but sometimes they get shut out. Owen Michaels is on that list. And here's the quote from Pronman. He's a good-sized center who skates well and works hard at both ends. He's not the most natural scorer you'll ever see, but he has enough pure skill and sense in his game to have a chance to get points at the next level and provide off-puck value. So the thing about Owen Michaels is that centers in the AHL or the NHL are extremely valuable. They just are. And so he may end up spending a couple of years down in the minors, or he could come more quickly. But he's a right-handed center. And almost more importantly is he's from Detroit. Canadian teams have a hard time signing American kids. One of the reasons that they may have gotten him, and this is key and should be mentioned every day, every hour on the hour, is Callie Larson, who is one of the major pieces of amateur procurement and I guess pro procurement for the Edmonton Oilers. And I've got, several contacts or several people involved or near the USHL and college hockey in the States. And when the Oilers hired Larson, all I heard was rave reviews about him. Guys like Kirk Luedeke and Guy Flaming and others who haven't necessarily been on the Lowdown over the years were zealous to reach out and say, this guy is something special. So Larson, has been charged with, along with Stan Bowman, getting good young amateur talent or a European talent, and who can turn pro, who are not drafted. And this is the latest. And you're going to hear names like Damian Carfagna. You've already heard Quinn Hudson. This is a pipeline of talent that the Edmonton Oilers badly need because the draft picks are going to be traded away. That's just the business they're in when you're in the winning window. And this player, Owen Michaels, probably goes to the AHL. You never know. Sometimes there's a guarantee, as there was with Hudson, to play a couple of NHL games. But there'll be things to work on. The getting up to speed with the intensity of the AHL and then the NHL. It takes some time, but it's a great investment. And not every one of these cats works out, but they're shopping in the good aisles. And they're shopping in the good aisles partly because they've scouted it so well, partly because Larson is so well connected, and that helps the reputation of the Edmonton Oilers. And I want to reiterate, because it's really important. Most of the kids who are American sign with American teams. And we've seen that. John Marino was drafted by the Edmonton Oilers, and he didn't sign here. And that's just one example. Justin Schultz was drafted by the Anaheim Ducks, and he signed in Edmonton because he's from, Penticton or Kelowna, one of those areas in the middle part of the interior of British Columbia. So this is a big deal. And it won't happen, nothing will happen today on this, but it's something to keep in mind in future. And I think it's going to be key in this Edmonton Oilers organization over the next several years. And the next name up might well be Damian Carfagna. He's a left-handed defenseman out of college. And based on usage, they seem much higher on him than Bo Akey, who was a draft pick a few years ago. Akey, either he's injured or there's something about his game they're not fond of. Either way, I think Carfagna has moved ahead of him on the prospect depth chart, and you won't hear from Carfagna until the fall, but he might play in the NHL next season. As I mentioned at the top of the show, the Oilers have some uncertainty in terms of the lineup tonight. Zach Hyman will be, last I checked, a game time decision. So you never know. Didn't skate yesterday, so that's, another part of what you would consider to be a little bit of a worry. But we also know that Trent Frederick is drawing in, and he'll be important because based on what we know, based on what the coach has said, there's going to be a need for that style of player and that kind of player, and specifically that player in the postseason. So lots to talk about today. Tristan Jarry starts. Trent Frederick will play. Hyman is a game time decision. We're not really sure about Szymanski. I would suspect that he would likely move down to the fourth line if he plays with Frederick in the lineup. And we'll talk about that and more as the day goes along. We have a wonderful show. I mentioned at the top of the hour that we have Bagged Milk coming up at 1, Ben Pope from Chicago Sun-Times at 1:20. And Declan, you have a Declan CAA. When we get there at 1:40, I'm assuming we're talking basketball, but maybe I'm wrong. What can we look forward to at 1:40?
Yeah, Declan CAA Final Four preview. It's kind of like similarly, I should say, to the college football season. When you get down to the final 3 games, there's not so much for me to say, and it's just kind of like we're going to watch these games play out. We're going to see what happens. Obviously, a little bit of a prediction, but it's time to just let the games happen on the court.
Am I a bad person because I'm still basking in the glow of Duke not being there?
No, I think you echo most people's sentiment with that.
It's just that it's irritating, right? That they're always there, Just it's nice to have somebody else there. I would like Arizona to win. What about you?
Who would I like to have win?
Yeah, I'm not asking for your pick, but where does your heart lie?
I don't care too much, obviously. Give me Illinois, though. Lowest seed remaining. No one really thought they were going to be there. Weren't the best team in the Big Ten by any stretch of the imagination this year. Now, if I had to pick, they would be my 4th pick to win it. But yeah, give me Illinois. Why not? Let's have some fun with it.
I like that. All right. On the way, rumors. This is the Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440 and YouTube.
At Hughes, it's all about getting in and out quick and clean. No cash, no problem. With Hughes' new tap and wash system, all you need is your debit or credit card to get your vehicle sparkling clean.
Find us at HughesCarWash.com.
What if you could hire motivated, safety-trained youth with no risk and funding to support you? At Careers the Next Generation, we make hiring easy with funded internships across Alberta in trades, IT, forestry, and more. Interns are WCB covered, complete high school accredited safety trained, and arrive ready to contribute from day one. With 42% of RAP students completing their apprenticeship by age 22, you get skilled workers faster. Spots are filling up. Visit careersnextgen.ca today.
This hockey season, before every game, check out the pregame show with Andrew Walker on Sports 1440. It's brought to you by Titan Supply, your only source for rigging, lifting, and hauling products. Visit titansupply.ca.
Who's that working on the underground utilities over there? All-Star Construction, that's who. What about the street lighting? Yep, All-Star Construction. And directional drilling, hydrovacking, neighborhood renewal, and telecommunication work? Yep. And yep. Since 2009, All-Star Construction has been doing all that and more, shaping and building Edmonton communities for land developers all around Edmonton. That's what All-Star Construction is all about.
Fountain Tire, the savings come in threes. Up to 25% off select tires, a mail-in rebate of up to $100 off a set of 4 select tires, and $50 off $150 service. We're basically the BLT of savings. Until April 25th. Restrictions apply. Book today.
This year, instead of a short winter getaway from the cold, what if you took a permanent winter getaway from your hair loss? Hi, I'm Dr. Vance Elliott, inviting you to come plan your winter transformation. I've helped thousands of Edmonton men and women get their hair and their confidence back. Many of them preferred the winter. Cooler temperatures are great for recovery, and winter hats can keep everything discreet. Trips are nice, but this winter, choose to invest in your vessel. Book a free consultation today at drvanceelliott.com.
The Lawnmower Hospital. Spring is here, and your lawn knows it. Get the professional grade cut your home deserves with Toro. The Lawnmower Hospital has the right Toro for the job, from the residential Toro Super Recycler to the high-performance zero-turn tractor for those larger properties. Shop now for exclusive spring discounts or 0% financing for 36 months on select units. Beat the rush and get your Toro in for service today. Visit lawnmowerhosp.com.
The Lawnmower Hospital.
I've been drinking.
The Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440. Can you fit Sports Encyclopedia on a business card?
Presented by Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy. WolfGMCBuick.com.
In Sports 1440 at 12:19, kind of a cloudy, rainy-ish. Don't say it. Don't say it. It's not happening. It's a nice day, nice spring day. A little chilly. I'm wearing my jean jacket. Josh in his usual parka. And I'm not sure, I don't remember what Declan is wearing.
Yeah, this sweater's Armani, actually.
Okay, very nice.
I don't even know if Armani's really in anymore.
Is that,
I do like this hoodie, though.
Is that Larry Armani down the street? Or
That's Giorgio.
Oh.
Come on now.
All right. Time for rumors. Brought to you by Great Canadian Solar. Great Canadian Solar has been helping homeowners and businesses harness the power of the sun for 15 years. Invest in solar and yourself. GreatCanadianSolar.com. By the way, we're not on tomorrow, just so you know. The shoe will not run tomorrow. Very important information. I will be in the parking lot here at the mall with my Mr. Microphone, and I will broadcast an entire show because I don't like days off. However, Josh has informed me that he is so looking forward to having a day off, and he may sleep the whole time.
I will not be sleeping the whole time. However, I am very excited for this day off. As a guy who hasn't really taken any vacation yet, I'm just sort of amped up to have an extra day.
There you are.
To recharge.
Confirmation that he plans to sleep the entire day.
Oh, no. I will be out and doing things by 11 o'clock.
That's the entire day done. What about you? I know that you'll be in church a lot this weekend. Declan.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, no, gonna take it easy. Watch the Final Four. My sister's actually flying in this weekend from Toronto. So
Future Prime Minister.
Future Prime. So I'll visit with her. Yeah, no, should be nice, fun, relaxing.
She's older sister, right?
No.
Younger sister.
Yeah.
So
I've only had 2.5 years to remember that.
Yeah. So like in terms of life skills and career development, you guys are kind of neck and neck, would you say?
Well, I like to think so.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure others may not feel the same way, others being anyone in the world with two eyes, but, is what it is.
Did she have Mrs. Andrews? And if she did,
No.
what kind of relationship did they have?
No. She was in the French immersion program, so she did not.
And you didn't go to the French immersion program?
No.
When I was a kid, you had a choice between bookkeeping and German. There was no French immersion.
We have a Ukrainian immersion program as well, and apparently I was in the Ukrainian immersion program.
You just don't remember learning anything.
No, apparently I was in Ukrainian in kindergarten, but I think my parents have that misconstrued because I think I would remember that.
Would you?
I think so.
Give me a word in Ukrainian.
Well, that's the thing. I can't do it. That's why I think they have it misconstrued.
But is that a memory thing or just your inability to,
to speak Ukrainian?
Right.
Yeah.
No.
It's possible.
Okay. The Oilers have signed. I'm sorry. Did you say something?
No.
Okay. The Oilers have signed Owen Michaels. We talked about him. A little bit of conflicting information. And I'm trying to get hard from Puckpedia, who solves everything. Figure this out. But the team press release says the deal will run for the last few weeks of the season. And the tweet says the signing indicated the deal was for 26-27. Doesn't matter. Well, it does, but it doesn't matter really for all intents and purposes. Owen Michaels, a right-handed center, two-way guy, 200-foot guy, is an Edmonton Oilers player. They may have to sign him to a new contract sooner than later, but that'll be okay. And I think it's a positive. I would have thought it was a positive no matter what. Stephen Ellis of Daily Faceoff says it's a skating that will likely hold him back from becoming an everyday NHL player. That's based on Daily Faceoff update. You can check it out there. Corey Pronman, who we had quoted earlier in the show, says he's a good size center who skates well and works hard at both ends. He's not the most natural scorer you'll ever see, but he has enough pure skill and sense in his game to have a chance to get points at the next level and provide off-puck value. Sometimes in terms of foot speed, there is a disconnect in terms of description. And this has been probably the most challenging thing in my 20-some years of writing about the Edmonton Oilers, where I'll say this player has not terrific speed, and then somebody who actually knows what they're talking about will say, well, actually, that's not true. And the example I've gotten that I use is Steve Serdachny in the weeks after Ryan Nugent-Hopkins was drafted on the Oilers Nation radio show back in the day. I 3 times said Nuge is too young and not a great skater. And 3 times Steve Serdachny checked me on it and said, you're giving false information in a nice way, but he knows more about skating than I do. And so what I normally do is I take account of all the people who are talking about the skating, good, bad, or indifferent. And then I let the player tell us who he is. So that's what I recommend you do. Owen Michaels is a young right-handed center who's got an opportunity to quickly rise to the NHL. He's got a contract with the Edmonton Oilers, and he has had some success in college hockey, including a national championship. So we'll look forward to it, and we'll see how it goes. But it is a big deal for an Edmonton Oilers team that needs young players. They just signed their draft pick yesterday. They've got another one on the way. They signed a European defenseman last week. It's all coming together, and we don't know how good they are. But guess what? We didn't know how good Josh Szymanski was or Quinn Hudson was a year ago, and look where they are. So it's good news all around if you're an Edmonton Oilers fan. Trent Frederick draws in tonight. Zach Hyman will be a game-time decision. My suspicion might be wrong. My suspicion is Josh Szymanski might draw out of the lineup. I think on merit he should play, but he's a rookie, and they could send him down, and that would help Bakersfield. And they have veterans they have to have a look at. They know what Szymanski can do. They're not sure where Frederick is, obviously, because he was putting it together. Then he got hurt, and now he's back in the lineup. And, of course, Hyman is the priority. That's a top winger you're going to rely on. They made it all the way to the finals with him and then did not win the Stanley Cup without him because he had been hurt. So, duh, he's a very important person on this team. Tristan Jarry will start the game. The Edmonton Oilers are flying right now. This is such an interesting team because of the way they ran through March, and they really did. They had a great month in March. Now, this month, they play at home against Chicago and Vegas. The Vegas game is huge. Probably the last chance Texaco for the Golden Knights to catch the Oilers. And then on the road to Utah, San Jose, and the Kings. Everybody, like, I'll say the Kings are not going to make it, and people go, well, no, it could be the wild card. But I mean, have you looked at the West in terms of how many teams could possibly make the play? I would not count. If I'm a fan of the Los Angeles Kings, I would not count on making the playoffs. It is nuts right now in the Western Conference. Seventh place team is Utah. They've got 82 points in 74 games. Then Los Angeles has 78 points in 74 games, but San Jose is 1 point behind with a game in hand. Nashville is 1 point behind the Los Angeles Kings. They played the same number of games. Winnipeg Bleeding Jets, they could make it. They've got 8 games left, and they're 2 points behind the Los Angeles Kings. You can safely say, well, maybe not, but you could probably safely say that Seattle was 75 points in 73 games, 1 game in hand on LA. They're 3 points behind. But really, honestly, there are, I'm going to say, 3 teams for sure, and maybe 4 who could jump LA. I do not think the Los Angeles Kings should be sleeping well. Honestly. San Jose, Nashville, Winnipeg, maybe. And maybe it's Seattle. And who knows, one year St. Louis came from the absolute bottom at the beginning of January, and they went on to win the Stanley Cup. So you never know. It's an interesting time to be a fan of your favorite NHL hockey team because it could be great and it could maybe not be great. Thanks, Lowetide. I'm just saying. It's pretty wild out there. William Nylander has said he wants to stay with the Toronto Maple Leafs during the retool. Is retool more of an attractive word than rebuild? Because retool is like, we're going to be like the Pittsburgh Penguins. They retooled. It's hard to do. But if you can do it and do it at a high level, then you can just go right back and win the thing. I don't think the Toronto Maple Leafs had the management or the coaching to get that done. There are rumors that they're going to go in an analytical way with their general manager, and that draws in, we talked about yesterday, former members of the Olagosphere, Tyler Dello and Tim Barnes and others. By the way, I cheer for all of them. If Carolina wins the Stanley Cup, I'll be thrilled. If Washington wins another Stanley Cup, because Barnes was there when they won last time, for the first time, I'll be thrilled. If the Kings ever win, I will be so happy because my dear friend Rob Volman works for the Los Angeles Kings. Very cool stuff. I remember when I was in the middle of media versus analytics people arguments back in the day. And it was pretty wild, let me tell you. In baseball, the big news is the Pittsburgh Pirates are going to promote Connor Griffin. He'll play tomorrow. The absolute, no question, best prospect in baseball. The only thing that held him back is he's a teenager. And teenagers rarely come up and succeed at a high level in the major leagues of baseball. But he's got it all. He really does. The only thing he does not have a lot of experience at AA and AAA. But the Pirates are a team that needs some good news. Their fans need some good news. And they've got a great pitching staff. And he has a bat that, like, give him a month, and he might be able to contribute, certainly at a higher level than Nick Gonzalez, who's the shortstop incumbent for the Pittsburgh Pirates. I'm pretty happy about that recall, the Pittsburgh Pirates. I think it's a good thing. Certainly for the fans and for the organization, too, because they're trying to get him signed, but why not bring him up have them experience things, and then get them signed as long-term as you can. You're not going to have them forever. There's a new CBA coming out. It's probably going to have a salary cap because the owners are absolutely convinced it's going to be good for them. We'll see. It's good news today if you're a fan of the Pittsburgh Pirates or, baseball in general. By the way, the Jays are rained out today, and I think that Kansas City game is underway. Minnesota playing the Kansas City Royals. No score so far. So we're going to get to this in about an hour from right now. But when we watch the games, they're both Saturday, right? Saturday afternoon and then early evening?
Yes.
Yeah. It feels to me, and I talked about this yesterday based on what I've read, the first game is going to be like everybody's assuming going in. So it could be like an absolute shocker if it's close. But the real, like the full meal deal is the second game.
Yeah, I think that's more than fair.
Yeah.
That Arizona-Michigan game, like the two most consistent teams all season. They're the third and fourth highest rated Ken Palm teams ever, I believe. It's gonna be a fantastic game.
All right. I've been waiting on this story. I knew I wanted to talk about it. I'm looking forward to the reaction. Kirk Cousins is signed with the Raiders, and I'm here for it. This is the 300th different NFL team that Cousins played for. He's had a very interesting career. Like, he's not nothing. He might be nothing now, but he's had a career. What are your thoughts about Cousins to the Raiders?
I'm a fan.
This is Declan talking.
This is Josh. I like it. Veteran QB. Obviously, we are pretty certain that Fernando Mendoza is going number 1 overall to the Las Vegas Raiders. So if you have a guy in Kirk Cousins, and they already came out and said they don't believe in a rookie starting game 1.
Thank you.
So, and this is a team that's owned by Tom Brady, who is a guy that did not start game 1 of the season, and also was like a way later draft pick, but that is neither here nor there. Giving Fernando Mendoza time to learn from and play behind a guy who's been in the league for a long time, played in a lot of big games, and honestly is not that shabby of a quarterback. He wasn't even really honestly that bad for the Falcons last year when he had to come in. So I like the pickup for the Raiders.
What about you, Declan?
Yeah, like I don't hate the fact that he's going there. And Schefter came out and said, he was like, yes, it's going to be a 5-year, $172 million deal, which sounds crazy and is. But in reality, it's a 1-year, fully guaranteed $20 million deal. And I think that it far more fits the timeline. I don't always love a rookie quarterback sitting for a year.
No one said he's going to sit for a year.
Yeah,
he might sit for the first 6 games. Like Patrick Mahomes sat for 9 games behind Alex Smith.
I think it was more.
Might have been 11, but it wasn't for a whole season.
Yeah, like, listen, I'm cool with it. Bring it in. The Raiders are like that offensive line. I get it. You can't put a rookie quarterback behind. Like, look at what Ashton Genty did last year behind that offensive line. Supremely talented back, north-south back, can go east-west, and he had no success because of how bad it was. Now you're going to put a rookie, presumably franchise-changing quarterback behind that offensive line. Like, I hate the prospect of that. So I like it in that sense. But the 5-year, $172 million thing, like, it just seems, because in reality, it probably is going to end up being exactly what Schefter said, which is a 1-year, $20 million deal, which is fine. But then why do the 5-year, $172? Like, that's just what doesn't make sense to me.
What if Fernando Mendoza doesn't pan out and they need Kirky Chains?
He will pan out.
I believe you. This is a national championship winning quarterback with Indiana of all places.
Jadeveon Clowney is interested in the Ravens. Is that a good landing spot?
It's a little
the list of guys that you go like at the end of their careers that you see pictures of them in Ravens jerseys is growing more and more every day. Like, it's just
but
sort
is
of
that a
what
bad
happens.
thing?
No,
it hasn't really worked out for them. Like, look at these old guys they've brought in that have never had any pop. Like
OBJ
D-Hop recently springs to memory. OBJ,
maybe now Jadeveon Clowney, but yeah, now I'm blanking. But I literally saw a graphic of like 8 guys that you're like, oh, did you remember they played for the Ravens? Like, oh my God, they retired right after that.
It's on the way out of town, sort of thing.
Yeah. but maybe juicing that last little bit of football out of you.
Cooper Flagg's had a great year. He's expressed recently that he's took a toll on him because the Mavericks aren't very good. He's used to playing, obviously, for brilliant teams. From a fan point of view, what I want to know is how quickly can they turn it around in Dallas?
Wonderful question.
It's basketball's a little easier because all it takes is one player to really dominate, and Cooper Flagg is that guy. And the pieces around them, like the PJs, the Derricks, the Daniel Gaffords, those are good pieces to have. I kind of made the point yesterday, it's not the most enviable in the world, but
they need a Robin.
They need a Robin. And like, is Kyrie back off that injury? The Robin, does he want to play Robin to 20-year-old Cooper Flagg? Like, I don't know.
If he's been in the league this long, he's got to understand that he's the Robin at this point.
Yeah, but he's also like arguably the most skilled player ever.
Oh, I know.
What I mean?
He's
like, it's kind of, that's kind of a tough one to
Jokic like that.
They're probably, I bet the Mavs are 2 years away from the playoffs. But then they're probably, like 5 years away from maybe making a real push for the Western Conference title. And the roster probably looks like there might be 3 guys left that are on the roster right now when that happens.
They need to hit their draft pick this year. And they need to find a guy like the Spurs did in Steph Castle.
You know what they need?
They need Luka Doncic.
They need Luka Doncic.
I think that'd be bad for Cooper Flagg's development.
Sometimes I wake up in the middle of the night with cold sweats thinking about that trade. I'm not a Dallas or a Lakers fan. That's just how crazy it was.
But here's what I know about the NBA, and you cats know way more than I do. I know sometime this summer there's going to be a player going to the Lakers that nobody knew was available. That's how the Lakers have always operated.
Well,
oh my God, how'd they get this guy?
They already have that, but
they're going to get another one.
But
no, I'm not.
They've traded for Giannis Antetokounmpo. Congratulations, LeBron James. You're a buck.
Simmons was selling me, by the way, that Giannis might be washed. I can't go that far because I love him too much, but
I can't agree with Simmons on that, but I understand his thought process in the how often does the year 13 guy pan out when he's had injury history this bad so recently? Giannis is still a top 5 player in the world when he's healthy.
How many years before Barkley started fading? I remember he did, but I loved him. He was
it took until he got to Houston.
Yeah. So that would have been 96,
97.
Oh no, I thought 98? They all teamed up after the Jordan Bulls, which would have been the 98-99 season.
Maybe you're right, actually. Yeah,
because that's when they had Scottie Pippen and they had Charles Barkley, and it did not work.
So was he
It was 96, 97.
Was he?
My apologies.
Was he 10 years in at that point? I can't
96, 97 would have been his 12th
year. Okay.
Yeah. And listen, that season was still really good. He put up 19 and 14.
But he was physical, and he had some injuries.
But really, when you knew he was done was that year that Scottie Pippen came to them after, and it just didn't work, and things were bad, and they were all old, and they couldn't defend anymore, and nobody could score, and everyone wanted to be the number one. It was a whole problem.
Yeah. I
great player though.
I'm on to rebound.
Dr. J won a championship. AI didn't win a championship, but the one that hurts is Barkley. I wanted him to win. I loved him.
Yeah, he arguably could have won the MVP in 90 as well. He got the one in 93, but that 90 race between him, Magic, and Mike that ended up going to Magic, like
he was such a fun player to watch.
Because he was like 6'6", and he was the best rebounder in the league.
Yep. And just wide, baby. Like he was a load. It was like watching a hockey player.
Have you ever looked at his in the break? You should Google his basketball reference and just look at his list of nicknames. It is so long. It all relates to how big he is.
Have you seen him on the tee with a golf club in his hand?
He fixed his swing.
Did he really?
Yeah, I think he fixed it because he did a match with Tiger and Phil or whatever, and some other basketball player. I forget who, but yeah, he totally fixed his swing before that. But before it was like so much stuttering, and it was like he had a seizure every time.
Yeah, it was
before he hit the ball.
It was tough, and I love Charles Barkley. I think he's so funny, even when he's saying wildly inappropriate things about people he met on the street. He's a funny man.
Well, remember, so he dug in on the city of San Antonio, talking about their dirty water and like the ladies who live there.
Big old, yeah.
And then the next show or whatever, he had to apologize to the people of San Antonio. And then he just immediately started digging the city of San Antonio again. Just like, oh, I don't want your dirty water. Oh,
he's so
Chuck,
awesome.
unrivaled.
I love him. All right, we'll take a break. We're talking Oilers game tonight. It's still big because you got to drive, maybe winning the Pacific Division. Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440 and YouTube.
For many families, the stress of divorce can throw your life out of balance. The loss of a relationship, ongoing conflict, mounting legal bills, and uncertainty about the future can feel overwhelming. Hi, I'm Corey Anderson with Fairway Divorce Solutions. At Fairway, our team helps you restore balance through mediation, negotiation, and a unique step-by-step process. With 2 offices in Edmonton dedicated to serving your needs, our goal is simple: to help you navigate a path back to peace and clarity. Visit us today at Fairway Divorce.
Got a car you're ready to part with? Find out what it's worth, fast, easy, and totally free at Go Auto. We're talking top dollar trade-ins, whether it's a little worn or still rocking that new car smell. Just a few clicks, and boom, you've got your value. Text value to 780-777-7777 to start. That's value to 780 all sevens. Why guess what it's worth? Let Go Auto show you the money.
You see it? Fusion Promo Marketing can make it. Fusion makes high-quality, memorable promotional products for businesses, sports teams, and corporate events. From vision to reality, get noticed and remembered. Fusion with a Z. Promomarketing.ca.
Nothing beats getting a deal at McDonald's. Why? Because you get a deal now.
And a deal later.
Redeem an offer from the latest mailer or on the McDonald's app and dig into instant savings. Plus, you earn points towards
free McDonald's.
Now that's what I call
a double whammy of deals.
Why does that keep happening? Deals sent right to your door. Check your mailbox for the latest McDonald's mailer loaded with delicious value. For a limited time at participating restaurants in Western Canada.
At Fountain Tire, the savings come in threes. Up to 25% off select tires, a mail-in rebate of up to $100 off a set of 4 select tires, and $50 off a $150 service. We're basically the BLT of savings. Until April 25th. Restrictions apply. Book today.
Country. Your seat is closer than you think. Starting at just $28 a week with a deposit-free payment plan available. Securing your full, half, and quarter season seats inside Rogers Place for the 2026-27 season has never been easier. Sign up for pre-sale access at edmontonoilers.com/season seats. Experience all that Rogers Place has to offer during an Oilers game night by visiting edmontonoilers.com/season seats.
Fast track your financial goals with a special rate term deposit from Vision Credit Union. For a limited time, take advantage of a great rate on 1, 3, or 5-year terms. Plus, as a Vision Credit Union member, you can earn up to 25% more on your interest through profit shares. For details, contact your branch today or visit visioncu.ca. That's visioncu.ca.
Bashaw Concrete Products. From concrete and septic tanks to blocks, precast water pads, Jersey barriers, and aggregate. Farmers, contractors, homeowners. Plan your next project at BashawConcrete.com. Family owned. Over 60 years pouring. Bashaw Concrete Products. Once again, start here. BashawConcrete.com.
The Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440. Author, musical connoisseur, sports know-it-all. Yes, a man for all seasons.
Presented by Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy. WolfGMCBuick.com.
Sports 1440, brought to you by Wolf GMC Buick. Check them out, wolfgmcbuick.com. A few comments coming in. Lowetide, I see that Vic Rauter is retiring from Curling World Championship. Nice article on TSN today. He made curling cool with his play-by-play. I think Vic Rauter either figured out or knew instantly that curling is like a comfort zone. And he was every show that he did, every broadcast that he did, there was humor and charm and goodness. And since it's unlikely that there'll be a brawl ever break out at a curling rink, he was also gracious and let his fellow broadcasters shine. And I think that was the key to him. I have nothing but good things to say about Vic Rauter, and I loved watching him on television. He was like comfort food. I don't know how else to describe it. Even if Canada was not doing well, or the Prairie provinces were sucking that particular briar, I would still watch because he was great. And when he would miss, like there'd be sometimes he didn't feel well or whatever, it just didn't feel right. That's how closely he's tied to curling. Josh, you're a curling fan. What does the curling industry think of Vic Rauter?
He's a legend. Yeah, Vic Rauter, really good. I've always just been more of a Russ guy.
Mm-hmm.
I love Russ, but
he's the analytics side. That's what you enjoy.
The analytics side, and also just like you can sit there and go, "Oh, well, they should do this, they should do that, whatever," and then Russ draws on his iPad for 3 seconds and goes, "This is exactly what they should do." And you go, "Oh my God, like he is so much smarter than all of the rest of us." And he just has that silky smooth voice.
Right. He's like the Tony Romo of curling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I've always just been a little more prone to Russ. However, Vic will be missed.
Yeah. That's a great crew. Hoggy says, unless they have some young players trying to make a name, those games are going to be laydowns trying to get out of the season uninjured, so their beach body doesn't have bruises on it while they're suntanning. So I also think LA squeaks in. Could be. But, I mean, do you think Winnipeg's not trying? You think San Jose's not trying? Like the San Jose Sharks have a chance to do something pretty special here. Ride a teenager to the National Hockey League playoffs. And I know there's other players. I'm not saying there aren't. But they're ahead of schedule because of this kid. And if he gets some playoff experience, it'd be like Gretzky and the boys in the spring of 1980. It's not like anybody expects them to win, but they're building towards something. And a few games of playoff experience could really benefit this team. I think LA's in a damn boatload of trouble. And part of it is because they spent a lot of money on older players. And when you have older players, what do you have? You have cap problems, you have injury problems for sure. And, some of their young players haven't developed. I still like them a lot. Clark, Byfield, I like those players. People are down on them. That's okay. But this year, I don't think they built the team right. They're a little bit like Toronto. Holland doesn't look for trades, and he doesn't look to elevate players. He looks to sign guys on July 1. And every year recently, the pool of talent that's available on July 1 becomes less and less. And teams like the Oilers under Holland and maybe under Stan Bowman, they go out and they give no movement clauses to guys for 6 years, and they sign them to a pile of money. And then it comes the fall, and they realize that this cat isn't that great. The Oilers have done that for over a decade. They had Patrick Maroon, but they were absolute hell-bent to acquire Milan Lucic. Well, Patrick Maroon was a better winger for Connor McDavid than Milan Lucic. But you can't say that when you spend that kind of coin on the big star. And so Maroon ended up getting his money elsewhere. And I don't think the Oilers were better for it. And I think that's kind of what happened in Los Angeles when Holland's signing a bunch of older guys and then the younger guys don't get any play. It happened here with Broberg and with Holloway. Hate to bring up old memories. I don't know what Rod's talking about. Are you talking about Barkley, Rod? Is that what that is in reference to? I'm not sure.
No, we started talking about Bronny James out of nowhere.
Bronny James? We haven't talked about Bronny James in ages.
It's just like the most out-of-touch basketball takes ever. It's so draining.
Yeah, that's why he does it.
He's honestly not that bad. Go watch some Bronny tape.
Yeah, like
I thought you meant Rod was
not going to listen.
Yeah, I'm talking to Rod right now. He absolutely would make the Stingers, and he'd be the CEBL leading scorer by game
he would average
7.
35 more points than everybody else. Like, what are we talking about here, man? Like, I can't talk ball with someone who thinks Pistol Pete's the GOAT.
Oh my God, Rod, that's right. He was texting in on Saturday.
Yeah,
he was bringing up Pistol Pete.
Maravich?
Yeah.
Well,
he was cold.
He's a great player, but he's not
college
the GOAT.
career, best college career ever.
Not the GOAT. Not even the GOAT of his era.
No, not even. No.
Listen, man, did he have the greatest handles until Allen Iverson? Probably. The dude was sick. And I forget, someone did the math. They watched so much Pistol Pete stuff. They calculated where the 3-point line would be and all his shots made from behind it versus in it. They're like, yeah, well, if the 3-point line existed when Pistol Pete was playing, he would have averaged 58 points per game. Like, what?
Also, who has that much leisure time to figure that out?
It's someone that definitely like works in sports. Like, listen, if I wasn't here all day and I was like doing something else, like if I had Donovan's job and I did social media and I sort of had to wait till the end of the day to do it, that's where I would like, I'd be sort of bored and just like doing that.
So you need to be a multimillionaire.
What?
Because then you could do it all day.
I could, and if this job yields results far more than we're promised to any of us, then yeah, that's exactly what I'll be able to do.
Hey, by the way, really quickly on the topic of basketball, the West players nominated for Defensive Player of the Month were just announced. Any guess who was on the list?
Luka Doncic.
Rod says Pistol Pete was the best. No, he wasn't. Like I wouldn't say that like Dr. J is the best player ever, and he was a great player. I wouldn't say any Philadelphia 76er of my lifetime was the best player ever. And it's the same, like great players. And Pistol Pete was a great player, but no, he was never the best. I don't think he was the best of his era. We'll have to go back.
No, he wasn't. He shot 44% from his career. Made the playoff. He never got out of the first round in the playoffs in his entire career until his very last season in Boston when he was playing 11 minutes a game. And then they like 3 playoff appearances his whole career in Atlanta, New Orleans. Never got out of the first round.
Yeah, that's a cold take, I would say.
Bingo.
One person said, I bet Pistol Pete was his grandfather, and another said April Fool's was yesterday. So this is what we're dealing with.
Okay, well, there was a nice little tangent that we went on.
How many people in this city know ball on our text line when we talk about ball? And they just were dogging on Rod for saying Pistol Pete's the GOAT. That's how bad that take was.
Well, one of the things I think we can say about Edmonton, and one of the reasons we talk about the NBA, is that it does have an audience in this city. People like it.
Hey, guys, make sure to get your Stinger season tickets.
Yeah.
I'm sitting courtside one time this year.
Are you?
Oh, I fully intend
You're
to.
going to be the Edmonton's version of Jack Nicholson?
Yes, actually. Yes, I am. I'll be sitting there in my Stingers hat, spill my chili on the sideline.
You got to have a pair of glasses that cost more than somebody's car.
Well,
you got to star in Chinatown.
Hey, you know what? That's a dream to have. Or One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Great movie, man. I'm telling you. So good. Okay. On the way, we have a very busy second hour. Bagged Milk will join us. We'll preview the Edmonton Oilers game coming up tonight. Ben Polk from Chicago Sun-Times at 1:20. We'll talk about Chicago. Made some deals with Edmonton. We'll talk about that. And then Declanation's Declan CAA will come your way at 1:40. This is the Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440 and YouTube. It's time for an update with Declan Krueger.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Brought to you by Custom Floors, Inc. Floors done right for homes or businesses. Visit the new showroom, 11577 149th Street, now open 6 days a week with Saturday hours from 10 to 2. Plus, you can visit customfloorsinc.ca to bring your next flooring project to life. Edmonton Oilers have signed forward Owen Michaels to a 1-year ELC for next season. He had 13 goals and 13 assists in 39 NCAA games with Western Michigan this past season, where he also served as the team captain. He was also named the Frozen Four's Most Outstanding Player in 2025 after leading Western Michigan to its first U.S. college title. Gabriele Gravina, Italy's Soccer Federation president, resigned amid political pressure today, 2 days after the team failed to qualify for their 3rd consecutive World Cup. NHL action, of course, will have the Edmonton Oilers playing host to the Chicago Blackhawks, 7 p.m. puck drop down at Rogers for that one. The day's action will get going at 5 o'clock with the Sabres and Sens, Penguins and Lightning, Boston Bruins and Florida Panthers, and Montreal Canadiens and New York Rangers. In the MLB, one game on right now between the Twins and the Royals. That one currently 1-0 for the Twins. In the bottom of the third, the Blue Jays and White Sox was postponed due to rain. The makeup date will be tomorrow. And later, we'll see the Braves and Diamondbacks and the Mets and the Giants. NBA action will get going at 5 o'clock. Phoenix and Charlotte and Minnesota, Detroit. The late game will see the San Antonio Spurs and the LA Clippers. 2 games in the AJHL today in the playoffs. Grand Prairie and Whitecourt out at JDA Place. In Whitecourt and Drumheller and Canmore out of the Canmore Recreation Center. 7 p.m. puck drops for both of those games. Tomorrow we will see the BCHL action roll on with the Spruce Grove Saints and the Brooks Bandits at 7, and the Sherwood Park Crusaders and Black Falls Bulldogs also at 7. And in the WHL, the Edmonton Oil Kings will be in action tomorrow night playing host the Saskatoon Blades. 6 p.m. puck drop for that one. 2 games on the schedule today. See Calgary and Brandon and Prince George and Spokane. I'm Declan Krueger. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440, Stingray Radio Station. CKJR broadcasts from West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin.
Download the free Stingray music app and listen wherever you go.
It's Truck Month at Wolf GMC Buick, and we know trucks. And we have the best deals of the year right now. Some have 0% for 4 years. We have 0% for 6 years. That's on our #1 selling GMC Sierra half-ton crew cab, or the Elevation, the AT4, or Denali. Yep, 0% for 72 months. And Costco members get an extra discount on some of our SUVs. Pop in today and drive away smiling. Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy.
Whether you're a craft beer connoisseur or more of a wine aficionado, there's always something new to discover at Sherbrooke Liquor, a unique, family-owned, independent liquor store. The selection? Incredible. The non-alcohol section is also very impressive. Sherbrooke Liquor, expert, knowledgeable staff with a passion for unique finds. More than just a liquor store, we're a community. Alberta's best, the one and only Sherbrooke Liquor. Wine, spirits, and oodles of beer. Visit SherbrookeLiquor.com.
Excavators, loaders, lifts, compaction equipment, and more. Find the XCMG construction equipment you need. Available for rental or sale at Japa Machinery Group. Japa, helping build Alberta from the ground up for 50 years. Visit japamachinery.com.
Smart, connected, community driven. Jason Krueger sets the standard for sports talk in Edmonton. Join the conversation on Sports 1440. Text Krueger 833-401-1440. Sports 1440, where Edmonton talks sports.
Come for Canada's largest trade shows, the biggest names in entertainment, exhilarating sporting events, and more. And stay for the experience at the Edmonton Expo Centre. Looking for the perfect place to host your next big event? From trade shows to galas, meetings, and concerts, the Edmonton Expo Centre has the space, event expertise, and service to make your next event unforgettable. With over 522,000 square feet of flexible event space, in-house catering, and operational expertise, they bring your biggest vision to life. Learn more at EdmontonExpoCenter.com today.
At Fountain Tire, the savings come in threes. Up to 25% off select tires, a mail-in rebate of up to $100 off a set of 4 select tires, and $50 off $150 service. We're basically the BLT of savings. Until April 25th. Restrictions apply. Book today.
Bring into savings at the Brick. Refresh your home with huge discounts. Save up to $1,800 on sofas and sectionals, and buy more, save more. Up to 25% off bedroom and dining furniture. Dreaming of better sleep? Upgrade your mattress game. Save up to 40% off select mattresses and score free delivery when you use your Flexity card. Plus, save 50% when you buy 2 or more select major kitchen appliances. Some exclusions apply. See in store for details. The Brick, proudly Canadian since 1971.
Breaking down the fine art of sports, one rep at a time. The Lowdown with Lowetide. Thanks for checking out Sports 1440.
Presented by Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy. WolfGMCBuick.com.
Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440 for Wolf GMC Buick. It's Truck Month, featuring their best deals of the year. Ask about 0% financing plus extra discounts for Costco members. WolfGMCBuick.com. Just ahead of bagged milk. I was wondering about this. We talked about it during the rumors segment in hour number 1. Jason Krueger has clarity for us in regard to Owen Michaels and his contract. Quoting Krueger in a tweet, Owen Michaels signed a 1-year deal for the rest of this season due to him turning 24 this year, so he could only sign for 1 year. He and Oilers signed it for the rest of this year, and then they will likely sign another contract this summer. So that's interesting, and it does give us a little insight, and we know the lay of the land now, and we thank Krueger, who'll be on the radio at 2 o'clock today. Joined now by our friend Bagged Milk from Oilers Nation. How are you?
I'm doing very well, Al. I'm just learning about our new friends who have been signing over the last couple of days.
Yeah, it's good. We got a European defenseman and now young Michaels, who's obviously excelled on a team level and a big part of the team, Western Michigan winning a championship. So we'll look forward to watching him over the next little while. So let's start here. How was your Vegas trip, and how long did it take you to recover?
Well, the recovery, I think, is still ongoing, and I've been home since Friday night. So I think as the years tick away, recovering from Vegas takes longer. But to answer the question, it was fantastic. We had a really great group of people with us that brought all kinds of good energy and positive energy, and it was just a really positive 3 days together as a group. And we've done so many of these over the years that the hockey almost becomes secondary to the people that we're with, and that was the case again this year. And I just wanted to say thank you to anybody who's listening to this that was on the trip, because we had a great time. Doesn't happen without the fantastic folks who join us, and this was no exception.
Well, they always say what stays in Vegas happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, but that penalty kill needed to come along, and that's one of the indicators that they've had in the last little while. This team is playing well the last 5 games, including goaltending and including the penalty kill. It feels as though the only thing is an outlier right now is the power play, and they need Leon probably for that.
Yeah, the penalty kill has been fantastic to watch, and also just seeing the Oilers play as a group. And maybe I'll sound a little bit like a caveman here, but I love seeing that if there is a scrum or is an incident or if there's any kind of physicality, nobody's waiting for an invitation right now. Everybody is going to defend their teammates. They're the first one in the pile, or they're not hesitating to get into the pile. And I think the team is starting to gel. And when it comes to the PK, a good PK comes with, obviously, you get your good goaltending, which we're getting right now, and then a lot of hard work and sacrificing bodies with blocked shots. And the Oilers are doing that. I don't know if it's just a matter of Connor Murphy and Jason Dickinson kind of pulling everyone along and being like, we can do better, or if it's just the team uniting at the right time of year. But the Oilers got a lot of good things happening for them right now. But on the power play, I'm actually a little surprised it's gone as sideways as it has. Obviously, losing Leon Draisaitl, you can't fill those shoes, and you would take an army to fill the shoes left by Leon Draisaitl. But I'm almost a little bit surprised that they've been this unsuccessful without him there. But then at the same time, I don't know, as I'm saying that, it's the same kind of thing that happens if Nuge is out, or if one of those key pieces, it's like, yes, all 5 of them are great players, but together they are really special. And they're missing 20% of that magic right now for sure. But I'm hopeful tonight. Tonight's a new night. Here's hoping they can get the PT going.
It's a fun time of year because they've done well. There are teams that they were close to a week and a half ago that are really sinking like stones, and that final position, maybe final 2 positions, the wild card spots in the West are still up in the air. LA Kings fading a little bit, San Jose Sharks, and Winnipeg has a chance at it. Got to feel pretty good if you're an Oilers fan to be out of that. Now you're looking forward to possibly pushing ahead and maybe winning the Pacific Division, depending upon how Anaheim does it. I'm not ever sure what kind of weight or importance to put on winning the Pacific. The Oilers haven't won since 1987. So I'll ask you, how much importance do you put on winning the Pacific Division for this edition of the Edmonton Oilers?
Not a whole lot, to be honest. 1987, I was only a 2-year-old boy, so I don't remember it. So my whole life has been watching the Oilers not win the division, and then the last 2 years we saw them go to the Stanley Cup despite not winning the division. I don't know necessarily how important it is, other than getting that first round home ice. That'd be really nice. And then also another feather in the cap, another banner up at the arena would be nice. But at the end of the day, I care more about the team playing well and just maintaining what they're doing right now than I do going to get that banner. That said, obviously you want it, and you're only 2 points back from Anaheim right now. The Oilers are the only team in the Pacific Division with a positive goal differential. So it seems like there are some arrows that are pointing them towards that first division win. But I also think that if they don't get it, it's not the end of the world.
So that brings me to my next question, because when I watch this team right now, Bag Milk, I'm pretty impressed by the top six defensemen. The pairing, specifically the goaltending, looks pretty good, and over 920 save percentage for each of them over the last 5 games. And I like the lines. Now, there are people moving into the lineup tonight, Trent Frederick moving in, and possibly Zach Hyman not playing. So that means that folks like Josh Szymanski or others may have to move out of the lineup. It's a good problem to have, because that means you have depth. But what are your thoughts on the lines and pairings leading up to tonight? And then, Frederick coming in and possibly Hyman, moving out of the lineup.
Yeah, the Hyman one is concerning. I know he didn't practice yesterday as well. He wasn't on the ice with the boys. And then apparently the latest update I've seen is that he's a game time decision for tonight. So that one's the big question for me. Obviously losing Leon, he's been out for a while now, but then you add another key player in Zach Hyman right when they're starting to get momentum, right when they're starting to gel. That one's a kick to the shin that we really didn't need right now. In terms of Trent Frederick coming back, I'm excited for him. I'm happy for him, because sure, you can say that the season went sideways and the contract's this and it's that and the term is this and it's that. But I felt like since the Olympic break, he's been playing his best hockey as an Oiler. And it was really unfortunate to see him go down with some kind of lower body that kept him out for a little bit. So I'm hoping that he's healthy and can pick right back up where he left off, because I thought that forward line was looking really, really good with Frederick on it. And I'm hoping he can get back to chipping in. And whether that's a physical way or maybe getting some offense going, I think that having him on the fourth line is an upgrade.
The second pairing, Nurse and Connor Murphy, have like a 1.75 goals against per 60 at 5-on-5, which is a pristine number. However, they're not scoring, and that's a concern. But with Leon Draisaitl coming back, that hopefully will be taken care of. What's your sense, though? We saw a game recently where the third and fourth line dominated the soft parade. And I can tell you, because I track this every game, that was a rare thing for the Oilers. They often get, even in a game where they're playing against, average or below competition, the third and fourth line doesn't get a lot of play and doesn't succeed. One of the reasons that's been put forward is that it's because Draisaitl isn't there and the third and fourth lines play more and in a more traditional rotation. Do you buy into that? And what's your thought on the third and fourth line finally dominating when they've had an opportunity for about a decade?
I think there's probably something to that, more opportunity for other players in terms of the situations they're used in and stepping up to the challenge. I think there's probably something to that. But I also think that the team as a whole looks like they're gelling in a way that we've been waiting for all season. And I think that throwing Leon Draisaitl back in the mix, if the team can maintain what they're doing right now, that just adds an elite MVP to your lineup that is already cooking. So I'm very, very bullish on where they're at right now. I don't necessarily think this is just a fad with how they're playing, because they look like they're really committed to each other on the ice every single shift. They're doing the small, simple things that win playoff games right now. And I think when Leon comes back into the mix, while the minutes may change slightly for some of these guys, I think and I hope that the attitude remains, because right now it is all systems go. Even in the other night, we saw Chris Knobloch rolling the lines, guys getting their opportunities, getting their minutes. So I'd like to see that continue. And maybe that is just that they now finally feel that they have that role ready, that they know what their job is and they're embracing it. Whatever the answer is, it's working. And I think when Leon Draisaitl does come back, he's only going to amplify it.
It's a fascinating thing to me that when you look at this hockey club right now, and you're projecting them into the future, and by that I mean into the playoffs, the things that we talked about all year were problems like until March 1st and even beyond that. And yet every day I come in here and I say, you can't just turn a switch and then turn your game around. And they kind of did, right?
They kind of did. And I wish there was a moment, or I wish there was just a thing that happened, but it kind of just clicked for whatever reason. And maybe it's Leon Draisaitl being out and everybody goes, oh, okay, we need to rally. We need to do this. Leon's not here to save us. Connor's still here, which is amazing. And you love having him in your lineup. You wish you could play 60 minutes, but that wasn't an option anymore. You didn't have number 2 right there to pick up the slack. So everyone else had to do it. I don't know what the answer is. Obviously, I'm not in the room or what exactly changed. But for me, watching from my side of the TV screen, the commitment to defense has been a lot more noticeable. I don't see players rushing out of the zone as much. I see a lot more puck support. I see more open lanes for the goalies to make shots. I don't see as many 10-bell giveaways right in the slot that always seem to find the back of the net. I think they've really tightened up in their own zone, and that's transitioning outward. And I think they're just keeping it simple. They are keep playing a very simple style of hockey right now. They're supporting each other. They're moving the puck effectively. They're looking for places to shoot. They are taking shots. They've got bodies in front of the net. That's just simple hockey, but it's effective. And right now they're playing that. Who knows why it took them this long to get here, but boy, better late than never, I suppose.
Yeah, this is such an interesting team. And I there's so many subject lines and things we can talk about during the off season, but there's a playoff run to happen. Leon Draisaitl said earlier in the year that this team isn't like the two Stanley Cup final teams. That could be good or bad. I've really liked Matt Savoy and some other young players stepping in and stepping up and really establishing themselves as quality NHL players. As we get closer to the playoffs, Bag Milk, how much importance do you put on this team having some younger legs, and maybe when Leon gets back, maybe even a third line, depending upon who's on that third line, that can score and outscore? How important is it maybe to have more depth than they've had in the last while?
Huge. It's massive. I mean, playoff hockey, as we've seen many times over the last handful of years, gets really, really tight. It's not loose. You got a lot more tight checking. There's a lot less space. You have to make quick decisions. And as we've also seen the last couple of years, sometimes the Oilers really struggle to get some depth scoring beyond the star players. And if we can, in your scenario, have three lines that can effectively push the river, to take one of your terms, I think that's a difference maker in itself. Fresh legs that you can count on, more importantly. I don't see anybody on the roster where you go, oh man, I don't know that I trust him out in any given moment. And I think that's new. Whether or not that actually translates to playoff success, it remains to be seen. But I love the idea of more players able to contribute, not just on the score sheet, but with meaningful minutes that helps take the pressure off Connor McDavid. If we can get more depth scoring in the playoffs than we've had, then this team is going to be an absolute troublesome opponent for anyone who faces them. And that would be a new kind of addition this year. So if we had a top nine that can actually play and a fourth line that can grind you down and play reasonable minutes, and you don't have to worry about whether Derek Ryan's in or out of the lineup. I love DR, but I think we're also in a different situation now where we got a little bit more speed, a little bit more youth, maybe not as much experience, but I also think maybe sometimes a lack of experience can also be beneficial, because you got some guys out there that are just excited to be there, excited for the opportunity, and not necessarily overthinking every shift of the game. So I'm hopeful. I'm always drinking the Kool-Aid, Al. You know me, I'm very bullish on the Oilers no matter what's going on. But I think this year that the way they're building towards the end of the season, everything's coming together at the right time.
Yeah, it's a good run here, and certainly the troubles and the difficulties and the frustration of earlier in the year have been replaced by some real hope here as we get to springtime in Alberta. Thanks for this. Oh, by the way, how's Frank? Did he miss you?
Frank missed me very, very much. The good news is, though, he did get some wins on the board for Frank's pick.
Nice.
You don't take days off, even though I'm out of town. So Frank has got a couple more wins under his belt. He's now moving above 500, where he belongs for Frank's pick. So season number 8, it started off slow. There were some bumps along the way, but we're starting to pick it up towards the tail end of the season, just like our beloved Edmonton Oilers.
Yeah, he's not the wobbly one. It's just the year that's been a little bent. Thanks, man.
Thank you, Al.
There you go, Bag Milk. It's 1:14, Lowdown with Lowetide. Interesting game tonight. Interesting way to end the season. Think about this for a minute. This is how they play without the best power play in the league from Chomskers. Hey, LT, thank McDavid for his comments after the Tampa game. That's when the switch clicked on from Mosey. Lowetide, correct me if I'm wrong, but weren't division crowns awarded during the playoffs in the distant past? Has that changed? The NHL changed playoff format from conference seats to 1 through 8? No, it's always been you won the division that I recall. I remember, and I have like thousands of old hockey newses because I'm a complete nerd. the Chicago Blackhawks in like 1969 or 70, or we can't remember the year. No, it would have been pre-expansion. They were thrilled that they won the regular season. It was the first time they'd won in 25, 30 years. And their owner said that he thought it was as big as the 1961 Stanley Cup victory at the time. So, no, it's been the division, winning the division during the regular season, much like in the EPL soccer / football. That means everything. There's a divisional crown, not necessarily a playoffs. In North America, there's playoffs, but the regular season is a big deal. And the Pacific Division crown, for some of us, would be a big deal. And for others, it's not that much. And we know it's not the ultimate prize. Okay, we're going to take a break. On the way, Ben Pope from Chicago Sun-Times is going to join us, talk about the Chicago Blackhawks, the trades they made, the team they are, and what the expectations are for the next year and the years to come. Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440 and YouTube.
And the Kings reloading with Trevor Moore. Down his off way. Moore to the net.
Strong is getting away. The throw is coming to third. Springer is safe. Springer into second. 1-0 Blue Jays.
Reeves to Doncic. Spencer Jones on him. Here's the double. Doncic on the drive. Step back. Puts it up. Puts it in. With 5/10 of a second remaining.
At japamachinery.com.
Booster Juice is going crazy for hazelnuts.
No, not crazy. Nuts.
Booster Juice is going bananas for hazelnuts.
I mean, there are bananas in smoothies, but that's not the point.
Banana juice is booster for hazelnuts.
What? Just stop.
Booster Juice is going nuts for hazelnut. Introducing the Nutty Monkey Smoothie, Holy Hazelnut Acai Bowl, and Nutty Booster Ball, all made with rich, creamy hazelnut spread. Try them today, only at Booster Juice. Canadian-born, blending since 1999.
The longest running basketball show in Canada airs every Saturday morning at 10 on Sports 1440. Hoop City with Paul Sir introduces a new generation of basketball talk, and it's right here on Edmonton's home for sports, Sports 1440.
Shoulder pain. It can make even the simplest things like reaching up, lifting a bag, brushing your teeth, or sleeping frustrating. Rotator cuff strains, impingement, arthritis, they're some of the most common issues we treat every day. I'm Grant Fedoruk, and at Leading Edge Physio, our team brings postgraduate training, evidence-based technology, and just the right amount of humor and humility to help you feel better. Because we never forget the most important part, the gratitude we feel for every patient who allows us the opportunity to care for them. Because life shouldn't hurt. When it does, leadingedgephysio.com.
5-time Junior Hockey League champions, the Spruce Grove Saints, are excited to be back on the ice at the brand new Thompson Family Arena. Be part of the action and enjoy some of the best junior hockey Canada has to offer by experiencing a Saints game for your next outing. Tickets range from $10 to $17 with free parking and some of the best food and drink specials in town. For more information on tickets and how you can become a partner, go to sgsaints.ca.
Business owners, if rising electricity costs are cutting into your profits, there's a smarter way forward. Right now, federal clean technology tax credits can cover 30 to over 50% of the cost of a commercial solar system, delivering an immediate return on your investment. And in Edmonton and Sturgeon County, the Commercial Clean Energy Improvement Program offers long-term financing for up to 20 years, making solar more affordable than ever. Lock in lower energy costs for decades and strengthen your bottom line. Visit GreatCanadianSolar.com to get started.
Fast track your financial goals with a special rate term deposit from Vision Credit Union. For a limited time, take advantage of a great rate on 1, 3, or 5-year terms. Plus, as a Vision Credit Union member, you can earn up to 25% more on your interest through profit shares. For details, contact your branch today or visit visioncu.ca. That's visioncu.ca. Oh, Canada. Jiffy Lube is here to keep you moving through mornings like these. Full synthetic oil changes, quality Pennzoil products, tire checks, battery tests, and everything else your car needs to get through our winters. Stop by Jiffy Lube for fast, easy, warranty-approved service. No appointment, no hassle. Just dependable service right when you need it. Jiffy Lube, keeping you moving through this.
Portions of this hour brought to you by the Edmonton Oilers. Oilers fans, season seats have never been easier. Sign up for first access to full, half, and quarter seats starting at only $28 per week by visiting edmontonoilers.com/season seats.
He's the only person to win an arm wrestling contest with the Philly Fanatic. The Lowdown with Lowetide, now on Sports 1440.
Presented by Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy. WolfGMCBuick.com.
Everyone's a winner, we're making our fame. Bonafide hustler, making my name. Sometimes I think sitting on trains. Every step I get, I'm clocking that game. Everyone's a winner, we're making our fame. Bonafide hustler, making my name.
40 at 122, brought to you by Wolf GMC Buick. Check them out, wolfgmcbuick.com. Joined now by Ben Pope from the Chicago Sun-Times, talking about the Blackhawks in town tonight and playing a couple of, two at least, former members of the Chicago Blackhawks, who are now Edmonton Oilers. Always kind of a weird situation for players, and I guess for media, too, to see old friends playing in new uniforms.
Yeah, it's definitely strange to see Murphy and Dickinson in the orange and blue. Just this morning at Oilers morning skate, Connor Murphy ducked out of the locker room to go say hi to some of his former teammates before getting dressed, and saw me over there. And very friendly guy. Always came, always happy to talk him over and shook my hand. And it was just strange to see him even in that circumstance. It looked like he still was kind of learning his way around the arena too. So. Yeah, pretty quick turnaround for these guys to face teammates that they've had for a long time. I mean, those were two of the longest tenured Hawks, Murphy being the longest tenured by quite a distance when they were traded. So I'm sure it's particularly bizarre for them.
And I know that I read a quote that you sent out on X in regard to Dickinson saying that he expects to, hear some chirping from Bedard and Bertuzzi, specifically tonight, which is always part of the game, right? But I imagine it would take a little while to work up a lather against guys who are your teammate for so long.
Yeah, I don't think it'll be, actual animosity. I think it'll be pretty friendly. Both of those guys are very well liked in the room, and after the trades, everyone was saying that they, wish them success and were excited for them to get a chance to participate in the playoffs because neither of them have been there in a long time. Murphy's never been in the playoffs. So I think everyone understood why they were traded and that this was likely coming, and are rooting for them to have success with the Oilers. So certainly both teams will be trying their hardest to win tonight, but I don't think there's any actual rivalry there.
It's a different Chicago team in that, you go to the deadline and you're selling and you're sort of, building on a future that your hope's coming. How much urgency is there right now for the Chicago Blackhawks to turn that corner? And sometimes it can be hard. Certainly in Edmonton, there was a long period of darkness before the good times arrived. Where is the mindset, I guess, not just from a management point of view, but also player and maybe even fan point of view? What's the expectation for this team?
Well, I think in the fan base, there definitely is, a bit more impatience starting to creep up. There's really two big segments of the fan base. One that does recognize the importance of patience and not rushing this. And then another, maybe the more old school portion of the fan base that is pretty fed up with the losing. Understandably, I mean, it's been a lot the last few years. So it's kind of divided on that front. Within the organization, though, I don't think there's a ton of feeling like urgency or certainly no desperation. This is really the first few weeks of the long-term core all being for the most part in the NHL together. And the players, even though it hasn't gone super well so far, have all talked about how it's really, really genuinely fun for them to be with all their generation trying to figure this out together. Ryan Green today mentioned that it feels like you're on a college team, and age-wise, a lot of these guys could be in college. So I think it's fun for them the process of trying to figure this out. And down the stretch this year, the Blackhawks are viewing this more of, okay, this is a time for experimentation and just trying different guys in different roles when the stakes are low and the results don't matter that much. That's why Anton Frandl is playing center right now. That's why they have 5 forwards on the power play. And next year, there's going to be a bit more expectations, maybe not necessarily to make the playoffs or no matter what, but to be better, to be more in the mix, to be more like maybe the Sharks have been this year. So they realize that, eventually that urgency will come, but for now, it's just a learning process.
In terms of Connor Bedard, he has stepped forward. His offense has increased this year. Looking at puck IQ, he's playing a significant amount against elite competition. Not that he was the guy who was charged with playing the most minutes among the forward group, but he's playing more against that group this year. And actually outscoring them pretty well. How has his progression been in terms of being able to outscore significant opposition on a team that, we know they're not complete yet, but that's eventually going to be the requirement from Bedard and the other young players?
Well, it's been a big step forward, in my opinion, for Bedard in his third year. Offensively, he's hit the 30-goal mark for the first time. He has exceeded his career high in points. Talked to him recently about how he's creating more space. He's gotten faster. He's kind of learning how to be more patient to get into open areas. So offensively, he's grown. Defensively, his commitment and work ethic has increased greatly. That's something that I feel like Jeff Blashill has really helped him with in terms of how to, make an impact defensively, get in, win those battles, be hard in the back check. Still a ways to go for sure. In that regard for him, but he's been a lot more complete player this year. They have had him doing those tough best on best matchups sometimes. I think long term they would like to not have that be the case, and that's kind of part of why they're trying Anton Frandl at center right now to see if he could be kind of the guy to take on the toughest matchups. On Tuesday against Winnipeg, it was the Frandl line with Bertuzzi and Mikheyev that was going up against the Scheifele-Kyle Connor line. So I would expect maybe more of that tonight with that group facing McDavid. But long term, they are kind of looking for a guy to step up as that shutdown checking center, filling what was basically Jason Dickinson's role. Oliver Moore got an initial look at that, but then got hurt just 2 games after Dickinson was traded. So not a big sample there. That'll definitely be a big priority for them moving forward. But as far as Bedard, I think they'd ideally like to give him a bit easier matchups moving forward, not to shelter him, but just to give him as many opportunities to produce and not be kind of weighed down with too many defensive responsibilities. And he has grown in all those regards this year.
This is a team that for me, sometimes a team, Edmonton has had this issue, you get very good and then you have a hard time finding a goaltender of the future. Spencer Knight is I think that. I know that Chicago just signed a prospect goaltender to an entry-level deal, but it feels like, if I'm following along at home, the Chicago Blackhawks have checked a lot of boxes. They may not be there entirely, but in terms of goal, I think they've got a pretty set group here, and it's a high end group as well. That's a good problem to have if your goaltending arrives early and it's going to be around for a long time.
Yeah, Spencer Knight's been one of the brightest spots of this year and really cemented himself as the franchise goalie that they were hoping he would be when they acquired him from Florida last year. I think tonight will be his 51st start of the season. So I think he's in the top 10 in the league in starts, and it's his first year as a starter, and he's handled that workload pretty well. After an amazing October, November, he's come back to earth a little bit, but continued to be an above average goalie. And with his age and intelligence, he's a very insightful guy to talk to, kind of sharing some of the lessons he learned from being a fly on the wall in those cup runs in Florida. A very important piece, cornerstone guy for this team. As you mentioned, there are a few prospects in the system. Drew Comesso has been one of the better goalies in the AHL for the last 3 years and will probably compete for the NHL backup job next year. Adam Guyan, who is the highest drafted goalie in, I believe, the 2023 class, just signed out of Minnesota Duluth. And Stan Bereznoi, it's a Russian goalie they signed last summer. So there are some prospects in the system, but Knight has firmly established himself as the number one moving forward.
Sports 1440, Lowdown with Lowetide at 1:31. We're in conversation with Ben Pope from Chicago Sun-Times. You never know with European kids. You mentioned Frundell. He's a player who was drafted 3rd overall in 2025. He had played in the Allsvenskan that year. Then he played in the Swedish Hockey League, high-end quality numbers. But you never know till he gets here. 5 games into his NHL career, he's not 19 until May. This is a substantial hockey player.
Yeah, I think Frundell has been very impressive this year. He was the first 18-year-old to score 20 goals in the Swedish league since Daniel Sedin. He was one of the top players in the World Juniors, winning the gold medal for Sweden. He's the first Hawks rookie to have 5 points in his first 5 games since Artemi Panarin. And Jeff Blashill has now compared him to Jonathan Toews on 3 consecutive days. So those are some pretty impressive names being thrown around in the Frundell conversation. He's personally compared himself to more of a Barkov Kopitar type player, where he has a bit more of that power forward game. And that's what the Hawks need, really, with Bedard and Frank Nazar and Oliver Moore and Nick Lardis all being on the smaller side. They need a big, powerful forward who can win battles. And that's been probably the most impressive thing so far, is how good he is at winning battles and forcing turnovers down low in the offensive zone, even around the net, where it's a turnover and an immediate chance if he can get it off a guy's stick there. He's done that several times. It's been impressive to see from him coming in. Last year, the Hawks had this with Moore and Sam Renzel, and both of them played well, building off of their University of Minnesota seasons. And then this year has been a bit more of a mixed bag. So certainly have to take it with a grain of salt, where if you're coming in with a ton of confidence and momentum off a season in an easier league, it's easier to kind of have that momentum in the NHL than when you have to build it from scratch. So we'll see how Frundell does as a full-time rookie next year. But for 5 games in, especially because the team hasn't really played great around him in those 5 games, he's looked really good.
Thanks so much for this. Enjoy the game tonight. We really appreciate your time.
Yep, thanks, of course. Thanks for having me.
There you go. Ben Pope, Chicago Sun-Times. Now, while we were in conversation with Bagnell and Ben Pope, you guys were working on or viewing a project. How did it go?
It went pretty well. Oh. It's a little thing that'll go up on socials probably today, maybe tomorrow. Not totally sure. It's all sort of up to our intern, but yeah, we did a little Connections. It's called Connections.
Okay.
So we just wanted to see if we were just naming sports things, how long it would take for us to get to the same spot that are connected to the 2 things that we had just said.
Okay. So it's sort of like a game you could play at home.
Exactly.
Right.
So if you said Wayne Gretzky and I said Mark Messier, what would be the next word you would think of?
Oh, probably Glenn Anderson.
See, that's crazy because I would say Edmonton Oilers.
Well, I thought we were doing the string of players from the 80s.
No, we're not trying to do this. We're trying to get on the same, we're trying to say the same word. And I wouldn't have said Glenn Anderson. I would have said Oilers. So if you said Glenn Anderson and I said Edmonton Oilers, I don't even know where I'd go next. Paul Coffey.
Right. You could go endlessly.
Yeah.
How long? No, don't tell me. I want to watch it and see.
Sure.
How long was this? 40 minutes, like that basketball thing?
We did 3 different ones. I think we were only out of the room for 3 minutes.
Oh, you did that just now?
Yeah, we did that already.
Oh, wow. You guys are amazing.
Wait till you see the video.
Wait till you see the video.
No,
look, we
in radio
smashed it.
In radio, you just after you're when you're on the air, that's all you do. You cats are not like that, man. You're helter-skelter. It's a whole new world you're living in.
The future exists on the internet, whether you like it or not.
There you go. You see, the world you live in doesn't exist for me. That's how it works. You know?
Oh, well.
This is like when Zuck was talking to Eduardo Saverin out in Palo Alto. It's like, you're going to get left behind. I don't want you to get left behind.
I remember that scene very well. Okay. On the way, it's Declinations. We're talking Declan CAA straight ahead. Lowdown with Lowetide on Sports 1440 and YouTube.
Bringing every project to life requires the right team. By joining the Japa Machinery Group service or sales teams, you can be part of setting a new industry standard. Celebrating a legacy of excellence with Japa. Learn more at japamachinery.com.
At Fountain Tire, the savings come in threes. Up to 25% off select tires, a mail-in rebate of up to $100 off a set of 4 select tires, and $50 off a $150 service. We're basically the BLT of savings. Until April 25th. Restrictions apply. Book today.
Edmonton's go-to station for all things sports is Sports 1440.
From Lowetide to Kevin Carius and Jason Greger, we deliver the latest on your favorite teams.
Tune in 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
To Sports 1440.
Craving your favorite mouth-watering pizzas? Papa John's has large specialty pizzas for only $19.99 for a limited time. Get a flavorful all the meats, the works, ultimate pepperoni, Hawaiian, barbecue chicken, and more on original thin or New York style crust. Use the code LSPEC at papajohns.ca or on the Papa John's app. Get yours today. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's.
When life unexpectedly changes, it can leave us feeling unbalanced, uncertain, and unsure of how to move forward. But you don't have to go through it alone. I'm Corey Anderson with Fairway Divorce Solutions. Our team helps reestablish balance, guiding you through your divorce with compassion, clarity, and support. Fairway has helped more than 6,500 families across Canada find a path towards a peaceful, fair resolution. With 2 offices in Edmonton, we're here to make your journey easier. Discover your options at Fairway Divorce.
One app, triple the action. Play Alberta is proof that good things do come in threes. Whether you're into playing any of our exciting casino games, betting on your favorite professional sports teams from around the world, or buying into Canada's biggest lotteries. Play Alberta is the province's only app to do it all. Download today and discover a new way to play. Must be 18 plus to play. If you gamble, use your game sense.
From the first face-off to the final, Sports 1440 is your home for hockey talk. With live coverage, expert analysis, and pre- and post-game shows, we bring you closer to the game. Tune in 24/7, only on Sports 1440, Edmonton's sports station.
Legacy Heating and Cooling offers no payments and no interest for 1 year on your new furnace. So, when you wake up to no heat, call Legacy. Call Legacy. If you need it immediately with no overtime rates. Call Legacy. If you need it immediately and want to combo it with AC. Call Legacy. Call Legacy. No payments and no interest for 1 year on your new furnace. It could only be Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Why should you drive a Subaru? How about durability, style, and an excellent customer experience from the moment you step into the showroom? And how about accolades, including awards for numerous 2026 Subaru models from both AutoTrader and JD Power? But don't just take my word for it. Take a test drive and you'll see why the Subaru name is recognized and renowned for quality. To learn more, visit Subaru.ca. Welcome to Uncommon. Welcome to Subaru.
Just eat. Just eat.
You need the lowdown? It's with Lowetide right now on Sports 1440.
Presented by Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy. WolfGMCBuick.com.
It's the Lowdown on Sports 1440, brought to you by Wolf GMC Buick. Check them out, wolfgmcbuick.com. Reminder, we will not be on the air tomorrow. We will be here Monday, however. Are you guys doing turkey or ham or lamb or goat or fish?
I'm probably not doing anything. I might be seeing my sister, but that's probably about it.
No.
Yeah.
No.
No specific plans.
And Declan, your sister's coming to town.
Mm-hmm.
You know, future prime minister.
I mean, she's kind of hitched herself to a losing wagon, so probably not. She stays with her party affiliation, but she'll fight, the good fight in her mind. You got to respect that.
Well, you never know. Political winds change. I mean, well, okay, it's declarations time.
Ehrenberg can do it. Your sister can do it.
There you go.
I don't know, man. Anyway, what's the sponsor?
Declarations is brought to you by Fairway Divorce Solutions. Divorce can be difficult. We can help make the road to a new life easier, even if it's a political party. Fairwaydivorce.com. And with that, it's Declan CAA.
Listen, let me tell you, I've been divorced 3 times. I used Fairway, and I stayed married all 3 times.
Wow. That's how good it is.
Man, it's that point, right? Like, what more can I really say? The Final Four is here. It's time to just watch the games, enjoy great basketball, potentially enjoy some historic basketball in the case of Michigan, Arizona. I'm really, really looking forward to it, obviously. I think there is kind of a notion that UConn is just going to walk down Illinois and highway to the Final Four, and I think highway to the national championship, excuse me. And I think some people kind of feel that way because maybe, UConn seeding, they're a number 2 team. They just beat Duke. Dan Hurley's won 2 national championships. But when you look into a little bit of it, like, Illinois was the 4th overall ranked Ken Palm team this year, and they ended up as a 3 seed. Their losses obviously had a lot to do with that, but they were the number and still are the number 1 team in the country. They have a 131.7 offensive rating. UConn, for reference, 27th in the country at 122.8. Now, this is kind of a bit of an issue of offense versus defense. UConn, they're the 9th ranked team in the country. Illinois is 20, which isn't bad by any stretch of the imagination, but you do definitely see where both teams' strengths lie. Illinois is going to probably have what I think is going to be the most NBA ready player in Keaton Vogler. I was looking at Tankathon earlier. He's projected to go 7th overall. That said, UConn has 3 guys who are going to go in the draft, presumably, or projected to, none in the lottery. It's going to be a really, really good, like a great coaching battle. Dan Hurley's obviously been there, done that, won the whole thing. Brad Underwood, I like him as a coach as well. I think I was kind of along the same lines as everyone when the Final Four came out, that this is UConn's to lose. But the more I think about it and what Illinois does offensively, and when you look at some of those guys they have who have played over in Europe, like Murkovic and Ivisic, they have Peja Stojakovic's son on that team too, by the way. People remember him. I think I'm shifting to Illinois' offense is going to be good enough to get this one done. And I actually think UConn's obviously had a phenomenal year. They're a Final Four team. They're 33-5 on the season. They're a top 10 Ken Palm team. There's kind of been a growing sentiment that it was actually impressive that Dan Hurley was able to do this in spite of the roster he had, which seems crazy to say when now you're looking at 3 guys who might potentially be NBA picks. But I'm going to officially shift my prediction, give it here. I think Illinois gets this one done on the back of their offense and on the back of Keaton Vogler kind of dominating the basketball.
That's huge.
Yeah. And then Michigan, Arizona. Arizona 36-2 this year. Michigan 35-3. Michigan, the number 1 defensive team in the country, the number 5 offensive team in the country. Arizona, the number 2 defensive team in the country, the number 4 offensive team in the country. Michigan has a 38.94 Ken Palm rating. Arizona, 38.86. So they're right there. Again, you talk about NBA players. You look at Yaxel Lenberg, who's a guy who's a little bit older on Michigan. Elliot Cadeau, probably not a NBA player, but a guy who I really think needs to control the game for Michigan to find success. I think a lot runs through him. You look at Arizona, you got Braden Burries, Koa Pete, Jaden Bradley. They have their big center as well. What's his name? I shouldn't be forgetting it. Krivas, that's right. So it's talent stacked kind of everywhere on that Arizona team, and they play so solidly. They collapse at the rim. They play they scored 104 points in an NCAA tournament game. They only took 6 threes. So they play really good, hard, ethical basketball. I think it's poised to be one of the best games that we could have seen in this tournament. It's a bit of a shame we're getting it in the Final Four and not in the national championship. But regardless, it's great basketball at this point. It's so much fun. I just just want to see it play out. My prediction, I'll go with Arizona over Michigan just because I think Arizona's been a touch more consistent, even though I do think both teams have been the two most consistent teams. And I will go Arizona over Illinois in the championship.
Okay. I like that. I'm surprised by the first because we've been talking, about Illinois being the underdog.
Yeah.
But I like it. And
The more I think about it, like when you got a dynamic player like that in Vogler, and you like that's the number one offense in college basketball. You know what I mean? Like that's pretty good, man. I'm rolling with it.
I like it.
Now, do you guys have predictions?
No, I don't predict it because I don't follow it all year. So
Fair
I would
enough,
be.
no.
It's like when I pick everybody picks their brackets. I'm like, well, I love
I know,
the.
that was a weird hill for you to die on. That picking brackets is dumb.
No, I don't think it's. I think it's. I think the problem is that people, they go, okay, this is the year, and like, have you ever won, like, been the most competitive individual in your group of people who pick brackets? Have you won that?
Yeah. Yep.
How many times?
I don't know off the top of my head. I won last year.
Okay, and it's. Do you consider it to be a feat of skill?
I mean, like the mathematical improbabilities lead the correct answer to being no. That said, when you do it with a smaller group, like when you enter ESPN's Sports Center grouping or the Yahoo Sports, CBS Sports that has hundreds of thousands, millions of people, no, that is not a skill. But when you do it with, 10, 15 friends, 5 friends, whatever it is,
right,
that's a little bit more,
that makes
you
sense.
actually have to watch the game, pay attention.
Okay. I like that. That to me makes sense. That's a good one. And then when you're doing it with the Fantasy Frenzy guys, winning that is not as impressive, but it's just as enjoyable.
I can't lie. That's a bit of my John Shire moment, if you will. The fact that I haven't won that, like that doesn't quite sit right with me. I got to get one, and it won't be this year, so it has to be next year.
Who won? Donovan
won it last year. Talk about a blind squirrel finding a nut. That's not even a blind squirrel finding a nut. That is a blind blue whale that's also deaf finding a nut. And then Eddie Steele won it the first year they did it.
Well, now Eddie makes sense. Donovan, he must have just gone, contrary.
Hey, but all the credit in the world to him. He could have taken the winnings. He gave it all to the Ben Stelter Fund. So
nicely
by
done.
him. Yeah, absolutely.
Nicely done. He is a class act. It's just that
absolutely
he's a loud class act.
It's hanging over me, man. I'm Connor McDavid without a ring, not having won that pool.
Well, how many are in the 8?
In the Fantasy Frenzy one?
Yeah.
No, I think it's it was 40 this year, 38, 40 this year.
Okay. Well, then I'm that's fairly substantial to win. That is a big deal.
I think they got pretty close to 50.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. There you go. Were you in it?
I'm in it.
Okay.
I'm not winning. I don't think.
Who is still alive?
Oh, like I have Arizona and Michigan still alive. I might have chosen UConn. So
but is there no way you can win?
God doesn't even know, man. That's what I'm up against. And I'm losing to that. Problem.
Sorry, I just haven't looked at it.
But also the great thing about
I have Michigan winning.
I think the great thing about this show is the three of us bring unique individual qualities, right? So Declan knowing about the NCAA basketball is terrific, but it doesn't mean that we have to know everything about it because he's got that covered, right? You guys want to know about the Montreal Expos? I'm here for you.
Well, read about them in a history book later, I guess.
They'll never come up
just like
again.
you do with all the other things that have died.
Oh, man, the Expos leaving still hurts, man. It just does. If they ever come back, I'm going. I am going.
Why didn't you become a Nats fan?
Well, because you can't. I didn't decide to leave and move. I mean, I enjoyed the Nats winning the World Series when they won, but it wasn't the same. I was a Montreal Expos fan. The logo and the team and the history meant a lot to me. When Martinez had his perfect game, I don't think you can just alter it like that. Maybe you can, but that wouldn't be something that I would choose to do. Why are you a fan of anything? Why are you a fan of the Buffalo Bills? If they suddenly moved, would you go with them? Maybe you would. I don't know.
Sorry, I had to turn that off because you had your backpack right to the microphone.
Yeah, my apologies. Speaking of the Bills, Josh Allen, Haley Steinfeld, happily welcomed their baby girl into the world.
Nicely done.
Announced just before we came on the show, actually. So shout out to them.
Well, maybe now that he has another, because once you have a child, you're not working for yourself anymore. You're working for something bigger and more important. Than
There's the question. Does he lose the eye of the tiger or does it get more intense?
No, I think he probably realizes that he owes it to his family to win the Super Bowl.
Not just the city of Buffalo, Lost 4 straight Super Bowls.
Running down the field, fumbling the football during a big game isn't going to fly anymore.
Not just him, who is a 0-star recruit.
I'm just saying, I mean, it can't be that hard to win.
Yeah, Jalen Hurts can do it.
The
right?
Eagles won.
If
with
Jalen Hurts can do it, anyone can
win
do
a
it.
Super Bowl.
He's
Anyone can
barely alive as a player. I mean, he can't throw. He can turn around and hand the ball off, but that's about it.
But Jalen Hurts,
not bad. That's pretty accurate.
Pretty accurate.
Would he be top 20 quarterback in the NFL, or would it be more?
Oh yeah. He's in the
top 30,
he's in the,
maybe.
He's in the top half,
right?
For sure.
Is he the weakest starter in the NFC East, according to you guys?
No.
Oh,
Who do the Commanders have starting to get? Oh, Jaden Daniels. That's right. No, that's pretty good.
No.
Who do the Giants have?
I think you guys have it covered there with Jalen.
Who'd you say? Come on. Oh, right. Yeah, no, sorry. Jalen Hurts is better than Jackson Dart.
LT, you've said a few times that you didn't think the Oilers had the horses to get it done this year. Just wondering if your opinion has changed from Colby. No. I just think this is a transition year. It's not. I don't mean to offend anybody. I think that they've done some good things at the deadline. I really like the investment they've made in young players, and I think it was necessary to make Matt Savoy one of the top 6 and to really have long looks at several players, including Josh Szymanski. And the experience that these young players get this year probably will be important to the following years if they don't trade them or whatever the case may be. But there's just too many things that have to come together. Connor Ingram has to play lights out. The shutdown pairing of Nurse and Murphy have to be as brilliant as they've been. They have been fantastic defensively, and they've got to find a way to outscore while those two are on the ice, because the terrific, eloquent passes from Evan Bouchard to Connor McDavid are not going from Murphy to Leon Draisaitl, or maybe they will when he gets here, but they haven't yet with the group they have. So my own feeling is that they're probably a next year team, but we'll see. I know that we've talked about it on the show, and some among our group think that they might be able to make it to the Western Final. I think Colorado, if they get through, will be the favorite. I don't think there's any surprise there, but I think the key will be one of those teams getting through in the Central and actually having enough players to put together a roster for the semifinal, which will, if it's against Edmonton, the Oilers will be a tough out. I'm not sure anybody else in the Pacific. Would you say Vegas would be a tough out if they make it?
No.
Depends. I mean, we've seen Torts behind the bench for how many games? One.
Can Torts get in goal?
Well, they need goaltending.
They need goaltending, but Aiden Hill also won a Stanley Cup already.
Also, goaltending's weird.
So
they
did
can
Grant
get hot.
Fuhr,
They can get hot. Well, Grant Fuhr was a great goalie.
I was speaking about the timeline. My fault.
Okay. They can. A goaltender can get hot late, and it happens. We saw it in St. Louis a few years ago, and that could happen for Las Vegas as well. All right. Thanks so much for tuning in. Jason Krueger on the way next. Please enjoy your day.
Brought to you by Sean Cunningham of Remax Real Estate. Get the home team advantage for your next move in the Edmonton area. If you're thinking about buying or selling a home, call or text Sean directly at 780-265-0165. That's 780-265-0165. Edmonton Oilers have signed forward Owen Michaels to a one-year ELC for next season. 13 goals and 13 assists in 39 games with Western Michigan this past season while serving as team captain. He was named the Frozen Four's most outstanding player in 2025 after leading Western Michigan to its first college title. Gabriel Gravina, Ilia's Soccer Federation president, resigned, amid political pressure today, 2 days after they failed to qualify for the third consecutive World Cup. NHL action will, of course, see the Edmonton Oilers playing host to the Chicago Blackhawks. 7 p.m. puck drop for that one down at Rogers. The over-under currently set at 6.5, and the line, Edmonton -225. Buffalo and Ottawa, Pittsburgh and Tampa, Boston and Florida, Montreal and New York, the Rangers, that is, Detroit and Philly, Columbus and Carolina, all kicking off the day's action at 5. Twins lead the Royals 1-0 in the bottom of the 6th. Braves and Diamondbacks and Mets Giants tonight. Blue Jays White Sox postponed due to weather. The makeup date will be tomorrow. In the NBA, the battle of the MVP candidates as Luka Doncic and the Los Angeles Lakers will be in Oklahoma City to take on Isaiah Joe and the Oklahoma City Thunder. In the AJHL, Grand Prairie and Whitecourt and Drumheller and Canmore both with puck drops at 7 in playoff action. BCHL as well. Spruce Grove and Brooks tomorrow. Sherwood Park and Blackfalds as well. Both puck drops for that one at 7. And two WHL games tonight. Calgary and Brandon and Prince George and Spokane. Edmonton and Saskatoon tomorrow at Rogers with a 6 p.m. puck drop. I'm Declan Krueger. Up next is the Jason Gregor Show. And this has been a Sports 1440 update. You as well. Nothing drives me up the wall more than what he does. His